Colonel Raymond Dante Pila Chica of the VPPSG. However, he sent his regrets, stating that he cannot attend due to prior equally important commitment. Mr. Morales is also the same, Your Honor. He cannot attend today. The Land Bank of the Philippines was invited. They have sent a list of their delegates. AVP Nanita Camposano, DOTC branch. DM Joyce L. Eclavea, DepEd branch. Attorney Rafael Christopher L. Yap, Special Legal Concerns. However, they are still not physically present in this hearing, Your Honor. We are also in receipt of the position papers of the Office of the Vice President from the individuals who were subject of the subpoena ad duces tecum and from the invitees coming from the satellite offices, Your Honor. They are not present in today's hearing, Your Honor. The Department of Budget Management and Management were also invited. However, they have a hearing in the Senate today and expressed their regrets in at today's hearing, Your Honor. For subpoena ad duces tecum, Your Honor, service was refused. It was served on November 2. However, it was
Duces tecum or ad testificandum?
Pardon, Your Honor. Subpoena ad testificandum. The Legislative Service Bureau of the Congress tried to physically serve it on November 2 to the DepEd. However, service was refused by the agency security, stating that they are no longer connected, particularly the spouses Edward D. Fajarda and Attorney Sunshine Chari A. Fajarda. When it was served to the Office of the Vice President in their office in Mandaluyong, the security of the building himself said that he will not accept it. It was again served yesterday, November 4, but the legal of the OVP refused to actually receive the subpoena ad duces tecum, Your Honor, but it was sent to their email last night. Please do note that the hearing of October 28 was postponed due to the Typhoon Christine, as earlier stated by Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, the Chair would like to recognize the Senior Vice Chair, Bienvenido Abante.
Just would like to find out who is the one that did not accept the letter and what is his position.
Comsec, please answer the query of Congressman Abante.
Your Honor, this is based on the report of the Legislative Service Bureau. From the legal department of the Vice President, they were in coordination with her, Attorney Emily Torrentira. She was the one who refused to accept the subpoena, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, is there any reason why she refused to accept the invitation? Did she give any reason, Mr. Chair?
What is the reason?
Your Honor, the Office of the Vice President submitted the position paper dated today, signed by the individual subject of the subpoena ad duces tecum. Part of their excuses was that to follow the procedure, the 3-day subpoena, service of subpoena procedure under the rules. However, they stated here that there was no subpoena received, but they refused to receive the same, Your Honor. Second, justification, Your Honors, the subject matter of the deliberation is not in aid of legislation and violative of the rights of the resource persons. They also raised jurisdictional issue and their right to decline invitations. And lastly, sub judice, because of pending cases pending case in the Supreme Court, Your Honor. The position paper respectfully submitted November 5, 2024 were signed by the following individuals: Attorney Zuleika T. Lopez, Attorney Emmanuel Lemuel G. Ortonio, Attorney Rosaline L. Sanchez, Julieta L. Villa del Rey, Gina F. Acosta, Attorney Sunshine Chari A. Fajarda, and Mr. Edward D. Fajarda, Your Honors. There is another second position paper. However, this pertains to the satellite offices, the lead managers of the satellite offices, and not subject of the subpoena, Your Honors.
Mr. Chair, did these people who have invited wrote to us a personal letter why they cannot attend, or it was just more of the person that actually said that they cannot accept the invitation?
Your Honor, it was not signed by the person who refused to actually receive yesterday. It was signed by the subject of the subpoena ad duces tecum, Your Honor. The subjects of the subpoena.
Um, are all of these invited, Mr. Chair, still active in the Vice President's office, or they were actually working with the Vice President in a DepEd? Are they now working with the Vice President in her office as Vice President, Mr. Chair?
Pardon, Your Honor, I would like to correct my statement. It is subpoena ad
Ad
testificandum,
testificandum.
Your Honor. For the position paper, Your Honor, the committee and the Secretariat has information that Attorney Sunshine Shari A. Fajarda was formerly an ASEC of the Department of Education. In the previous hearing, the position papers she submitted to the committee did not use the header of the Office of the Vice President. However, from the start of our hearings, Your Honor, Mr. Edward D. Fajarda, formerly the SDO of the Department of Education, submitted his position papers under the header of the Office of the Vice President. It was only today, in view of this position paper submitted today, that the Secretariat was made aware that Attorney Sunshine Shari A. Fajarda is now with the Office of the Vice President, considering that she signed her name here under the header of the OVP.
As
Mr.
to
Chair.
the question of Congressman Abante, with respect to the status of this subject, siguro we can ask the former undersecretary or the spokesman of the Vice President, Attorney Poa, if are you still connected with the... Well, I understand that you are no longer connected with DepEd, but how about in the Office of the Vice President? Are you still connected?
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I would like to inform the Honorable Committee that I am no longer connected po with the Office of the Vice President. Hindi na po ako, yung consultancy contract ko po was already pre-terminated, Your Honor.
Not even as a spokesman?
Wala na rin po ako as spokesperson.
Okay, but
Apo.
are you aware of the status of the people who are subject of the subpoena?
Opo.
Are they still connected?
Honestly, Your Honor, when I was still there, yes, they were connected with the OVP. Although, as of today, hindi ko na po talaga masabi factually if they are still connected or not. I would assume because of the position paper with the letterhead that they're still connected. But I cannot confirm that because nagpaalam po ako, nagpaalam po ako na umalis prior pa po to the previous hearing that we had. Your
Mr.
Honor.
Chair, I assume
Yes, Congressman Abante.
that Attorney Poa knows all of these people personally, di ba?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your
Oo.
Honor.
So therefore, siguro, at present, alam mo pa rin kung sino yung connected kay Vice President.
Yes, Your Honor.
Who are those people still connected with the Vice President?
Your Honor, as far
as you know it.
as far as I know, those people are still connected with the Vice President. Although as of today, I really do not have personal knowledge. But as far as I know, they are still connected with the OVP.
Mr.
Thank you
Chair,
po.
how about Ms. Lopez? Is she still connected?
As far as I know, Your Honor.
Mr. Gonzaga?
Gonzaga.
Yeah,
Your-
Emmanuel Gonzaga Ortonio.
Yes, Your Honor. As far as I
How
know.
about Rosalyn Ladores Sanchez?
As far as I know, Your Honor. Same.
Gina Acosta?
I don't have any interaction po with her, but when I was there, yes, I know that she was connected with the OVP.
About Julieta Villa del Rey?
As far as I know, Your Honor.
Edward Fajarda?
Yes, as far as I know.
And
Your Honor.
Sunshine Chari Fajarda?
As far as I know as well, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, I would assume that if all of these are connected with the Vice President, it is the Vice President herself that asked them not to attend this hearing.
So may I know if all these subject persons that were mentioned by the Honorable Abante are still, do you have any travel update?
Your Honor,
Are they still? Yes, Congressman.
Mr. Chair, may I also? Mr. Chair.
Congressman Sia.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. In line with the question of Chairman Abante, well, I'd like also to ask Attorney Pao, because she mentioned certain number of names, and you confirmed that they are still connected with the Office of the Vice President. Would you also know if an individual by the name of Kelvin Tuntenido and Maria Edelyn Rabago are still also connected with the Office of the Vice President?
Your
Attorney
Honor,
Poa. Please,
sorry,
please
Mr. Chair.
respond.
Your Honor, I am not familiar with them because when I was spokesperson, I only dealt with the upper management. Although yung Mr. Kelvin, I think I recall his name.
Yeah.
Although I cannot, in all honesty, say if he's
But while
still connected or not.
when the time that you were connected with the Vice President, have you met these people?
Briefly,
Would you say that- yeah?
briefly, Your Honor, because of the budget hearings that
Okay.
time. Opo.
Are they career officers of OVP?
I honestly wouldn't know, Your Honor.
Okay, thank
Kasi
you.
I was only a consultant, Your Honor, so I beg your indulgence on
Yeah.
that.
Okay, thank you, Attorney. Thank you,
Mr.
Mr. Chair.
Chairman, just
Congressman Paduano.
just to clarify things, because we're discussing some other names mentioned by members or colleagues, no, and members of this committee. While we have received already the official position from the Office of the Vice President, and was signed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 persons, subject of isupena at testificandum.
Yes.
So, Mr. Chairman, ganito na lang po because reading on the documents, no, that was as reply and an excuse from the Office of the Vice President signed by the 7 persons cited, issued by isupena at testificandum, a certain Attorney Lopez, at Lemuel Ortonio, Attorney Sanchez, Olieta Villaderle, Gina Acosta, and the spouses Sunshine and Edward Farda. Now, Mr. Chairman, while question of being absent in today's hearing was already discussed and answered by this honorable committee, unless otherwise, some of the members will discuss it once again with regards to question of sub judice, question of jurisdictional issue, and the right to decline the invitation. But one thing is important, Mr. Chairman, that they invoke the question of the 3D rule, which is our internal rules. So, Mr. Chairman, now to be safe, for this committee to be safe, may I respectfully move na lang, Mr. Chairman, to once again issue subpoena ad testificandum to all those mentioned name, no, to all those mentioned name and what's issued previously a subpoena ad testificandum to be present in the next hearing, Mr. Chairman. So move, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Deputy Speaker Suarez.
Second.
Well, actually,
Mr. Chairman,
yes,
before,
Congressman
with the
Paduano.
indulgence of the members and the good chairman, Mr. Chairman, to expedite discussion with regards to the question matters at hand, may I just respectfully submit, Mr. Chairman, my official position with regards to the position or reply by the Office of the Vice President, just to expedite discussion, Mr. Chairman. Just for the record, Mr. Chairman, I will just submit my position with regards to sub judice, with regards to question of the trade rule, and the four reasons why those 7 OVP officials are not present at this hearing. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr.
Noted.
Chair,
Yes, Congressman Abante.
according to the committee secretary, these people
At this Testificandum.
have been invited 4 times, but they failed to attend. As I am, you know, I'm so glad for the kindness of Congressman Paduano in inviting them again for the 5th time. Now, Mr. Chair, if they will not come for the 5th time, then I might make a motion to hold them in contempt. Because this is the 4th time. This is unfair to these people here who have attended every time that they are called upon. And then we're just going to do nothing about these people here who have been invited 4 times? It's unfair for us too that we are here in this hearing, and these people are kept on insulting us, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman.
Congressman Paduano.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With the manifestation made by the Honorable Vice Chair Abante with regards to the issuance of subpoena at the state referendum, let's cross the bridge. I think, Mr. Chairman, let's cross the bridge when we have the next hearing. No? Tingnan po natin. But of course, we will just comply with our internal rules with regards to the trade rule. But question of due process with regards to invitation, Mr. Chairman, that is very clear that we have invited them for the 4 invitations. So I really join the sentiment of Vice Chair Abante, but as of now we cannot discuss about it since we have to comply with our internal rule. It is the trade rules, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Yes, before I make my ruling, I would just like to make a short manifestation. I totally in agreement with the manifestation of Congressman Abante. And in fact, the fact that all the other resource persons are present in today's hearing, bakit naman po sila naka-attend? Yung iba hindi maka-attend. But of course, para po mawala na lang po yung mga agam-agam, and also to just like what Congressman Paduano said, to accommodate and in view of our 3-day rule, we will just reissue another subpoena with the stern warning that the next time that they fail to attend, we will be constrained to issue a much heavier penalty. Considering that there is a motion which was duly seconded by Congressman with Deputy Speaker Suarez, is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is carried.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Deputy Speaker Suarez.
Yeah, I just want to make a quick manifestation. Unang-una ho ay pinapangalawahan ko po yung posisyon ni Congressman Abante patungkol po sa mga taong iniimbitahan ng committee ito upang magbigay ng impormasyon, pagpapaliwanag sa mga usapin na pinag-uusapan natin. Kung hindi po ako nagkakamali, Mr. Chairman, pang-4 na hearing na po natin ito. Tama po ba ako? This is our 4th hearing. I'm sure a great number of the Filipino people know what we're talking about. I'm sure the Office of the Vice President know what we're talking about. I'm sure the officials of the DepEd know what we're talking about. And being public servants, whether you're elected or you're appointed, it is part of your duty to make sure that you exercise transparency and accountability in the exercise of your duties and functions. Now, as an appointed official, having that oath that you have taken, pag meron pong mga patawag na ginagawa, ang Kongreso, maging ang Senado at ang mababang kapulungan, obligado pong umattend sila dahil napakahalaga po ng kanilang ibabahagi sa ating mga pinag-uusapan. So, alam ko naman po ay nakikinig yung mga iniimbitahan natin na ayaw sumipot. Pakiusap ko lang po sa kanila para naman matapos na po ito at makapagpatuloy na po tayo sa ilang bahagi. Ang habol lang naman po natin dito ay katotohanan, pagpapaliwanag lang kung paano ba ginastos yung pera. Hindi naman siguro masyadong mahirap ipaliwanag kung tama naman po ang paggastos ng pera. So, Sinususugan ko po yung posisyon ni Congressman Paduano na pagbigyan natin muli ng, sige, isa pa. Isa pang pakiusap. Tulad na lang ng ginawa natin ng budget hearing, pinagbigyan na naman natin ng isa pang pagkakataon para humarap sa plenary. Kasi lang sana naman po, ito na ang huling pagkakataon na ibibigay natin. Dahil mahalaga po ang oras natin, mahalaga po yung oras ng mga taong pumupunta dito. Ako po ay nakikiisa sa pasasalamat sa inyong lahat. Dahil alam ko naman po ay inaabot po tayo minsan dito ng 8, 10 oras sa pandinig. But you give time. You open up your schedule because you know the importance and the significance of these hearings. So again, Mr. Chair, I just wanted to manifest that I am very disappointed with the position of our invited guests for the 4th time, not attending our hearing. And I do hope that when we do issue the subpoena tomorrow, we can take our proper action. Now, my question, Mr. Chair, is what other legal remedy does the committee possess insofar as to secure, number one, if our resource persons are still in the Philippines? Number two, to avoid flight? Number three, to ensure that their presence will be here in the following hearing?
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Congressman Abante.
in relation to the question of my good friend Congressman J.J. Suarez, nakalagay po dito sa pinadala sa atin na information that only Zuleika Lopez departed on November 4. Emmanuel Gonzaga Ortoño arrived November 20. Rosalyn Ladores Sanchez arrived May 21. Juliet Villa del Rey arrived October 5. Edward Fajarda and Sunshine Chari Fajarda arrived June 25. Now, wala pa naman po naka-report na umalis sila uli. Sa palagay ko po, hindi lang talaga, I just would like to manifest, Mr. Chair, na napakabait po ng Committee on Good Government for giving them the chance for the 5th time to attend. Sana naman po ay hindi na kami ipahiya dito sapagkat para bang nararamdaman ko na umiiwas sila na tanungin kung paano ginamit ang pondo ng ating pamahalaan na dapat nilang linawin sa committee ito sapagkat tayo po ang binigyan ng mandato ng konstitusyon upang ating busisiin ang pondo na ginagamit ng bawat ahensya ng gobyerno, Mr. Chair. Kaya sa akin po, nakaka-disappoint sapagkat dapat ipaliwanag hindi lamang sa ating komite, dapat ipaliwanag sa taong bayan kung papaano ba ginamit ang pondo ng taong bayan, Mr. Chair.
Maraming salamat.
Mr.
Maybe
Chair.
we can...
Mr.
Yes,
Chair.
Congressman Sia.
Just like to inquire, since we are on the subject of issuing subpoena at this testificandum to certain individuals, may also inquire from our COMSEC, have we also sent invitation to Mr. Kelvin Jerome Tenido and Maria Edelyn Rabago? These are, I believe, career officers in the office of the Vice President. Have we sent them invitation in the previous committee hearings?
Your Honors, in the previous committee hearings, Mr. Kelvin Jerome Tenido was invited. Ms. Rabago was first-time invitee.
Okay.
Your Honor. Your Honor, may I proceed with recognizing some members first, Your Honor?
Yes, please. Thank
Okay.
you.
Honorable Franz Pomarian, Deputy Majority Leader from the 3rd District of Quezon City, is present, Your Honor, as well as Honorable Ed Christopher Esgo, Deputy Majority Leader, 2nd District of Isabela, Your Honor.
Yeah, so how many times did they refuse to appear before this committee hearings?
For Mr. Kelvin Jerome Tenido, Your Honor, this is the 2nd time. For Ms. Rabago, this is the 1st time, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I'd like to ask, Mr. Chair, how many times would the committee allow for certain invitees not to appear in the committee hearings before we can issue a subpoena for them to be mandated and obligated to appear before this committee hearings?
Your Honor, under the rules on inquiries, witnesses, resource persons, and guests are allowed 2 unjustified absences, Your Honor.
Have they sent us justification or a reason for their not attending in the previous committee hearing? Did we receive any letter, excuse letter from them?
No excuse letters, Your Honor. Only position papers refusing to attend, Your Honor, based on the points raised in the current position paper that we have. It has been reiterated from day one of the other members or of officials of the Office of the Vice President, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Comsec. I'd like to reiterate again the manifestation of Deputy Speaker J.J. Suarez that we've been very lenient to these individuals. So if we have not received any justification of excuse letter for them not to attend before this committee, and I believe these individuals that I've mentioned have already been received invitation in the previous committee hearings, perhaps we can also, I would suggest to the committee that we can also include them, issue them a subpoena at testificandum so that they may be required to appear before this committee hearings, because I believe their testimonies would be material for this committee to arrive in a sound judgment once we file our committee report, para po maintindihan natin ng buo, comprehensively understand kung ano po yung pinag-uusapan natin dito. So, Mr. Chair, again, I would submit to the committee, to the chair, whether or not these individuals would also be included in the subpoena testificandum that we will be issuing in probably tomorrow, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, that's. But if not, if I would subscribe to the decision of this committee, to the chairman, since being that they have already refused to attend. This is the second time, no, or the third time na, no, Comsec, the second time.
Chairman.
Is there any motion?
Well, Mr. Chair, if given the I would move that these individuals be included in the subpoena that we will be issuing, Mr. Chair. This committee will be
Is
issuing.
there any second to the motion? Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is carried.
Thank you.
Comsec, please
Thank you very
include
much, Mr.
the names Kelvin Tenido and Delin Rabago to the subpoena at testificandum.
Noted, Your Honors. May I please continue with the update for the resource persons, Your Honor?
Yes, please. Could you please also update this committee if the lookout bulletin that we requested to the Bureau of, to the DOJ has already been released?
Yes, Your Honors. In coordination with the Bureau of Immigration who were invited today, Your Honor, however, they are unable to attend. Nevertheless, they sent to us the latest travel records of the person subject of the subpoena at testificandum, which has been distributed to Your Honors. As to the ILB or Immigration Lookout Bulletin Order, I was updated by Attorney Vicente Ongcad of the Bureau of Immigration that they have not yet received an ILBO. However, per news reports, the request is already with the SOJ and is awaiting for his signature, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair,
Congressman Abante?
perhaps it would also be better for us to invite Attorney Vicente Uncat to give us the information about these people that we have invited, on their travels, Mr. Chair.
Please take note of the manifestation of Congressman Ongcad, Comsec.
Noted, Your Honors. It was actually Attorney Vicente Ongcad who signed the information, the travel records, Your Honor, in your hand. However, he is engaged right now. That's why, in an equally important matter, nevertheless, he sent this document, Your Honor, and he will be invited again in the next hearing, Your Honor.
Lahat po ba itong subject ng ating subpoena ay nasa Pilipinas pa o meron ano yung mga travel record nila?
Your Honor, per coordination or in coordination with Attorney Ongcad, all the 7 of whom we have requested travel records, only one left the country last night. Per information received, Attorney Zuleika T. Lopez entered the immigration gates of the airport last night at 7:31 p.m. Aboard flight PR-102, Manila to Los Angeles. But the rest are still in the Philippines. However, for Ms. Gina F. Acosta, considering that she has many multiple namesakes, the Bureau of Immigration is unable to provide information as to her latest travel records, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair,
Congressman Abante.
what do you mean multiple namesakes? Ibig sabihin si Gina Acosta has a lot of aliases given?
Your Honor, she may have had many kaparehong pangalan, Your Honor. Gina F. Acosta.
Kaparehong
Yes,
pangalan.
opo.
Oo.
Hence, the Bureau of Immigration requested for birthplace or any other distinguishing detail to be provided in order to obtain specific records for Ms. Gina F. Acosta of the OVP.
Mr. Chair, mukhang maraming pera to mga to dahil nagda-travel palagi. You know? Kaya uulitin ko po, uulitin ko, Mr. Chair, sapagkat medyo, alam nyo, hindi rin nakakatuwa na makita na 4 na beses nang inimbitahan to. Samantalang nakalagay sa rules natin, 2 beses lang eh. And then afterwards, you could be able to issue a contempt order, no? Pero ito pang-4 na kayong hindi naka-attend, pang-5 ng imbitasyon to. So nakikita nyo ang kabaitan ng Committee on Good Government na pinapangunahan ni Congressman Joel Chua. So nais kong sabihin ulit, itong si Zuleika Lopez, Emmanuel Gonzaga Ortoño, Rosalyn Ladores Sanchez, Gina Acosta, Julieta Villa del Rey, Edward Fajarda, Sunshine Chari Fajarda, huwag nyo naman kami hamunin ang committee ito na mag-issue na kami ng contempt order sa inyo. Sana mag-attend na kayo. Ngayon pong inibitahan kayo ng pang-5 beses. Sapagkat alam ko naman, Mr. Chair, nakikinig itong mga taong to eh. Hindi naman sila ignorante sa hearing na ito. Nakikinig po sila dito. At kung narinig niyo po kami, nananawagan po kami sa inyo. Mag-attend na kayo sa next hearing po natin. At inyo na tanggapin ang aming pagiging mabait sa inyo so far, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, may I be recognized?
Congressman Alonto.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, just a quick manifestation as well, just to re-echo the sentiment of our colleagues here, Chairman Abante. Mr. Chair, I noticed also the position paper that was sent to us by these resource persons that we have invited, that they have cited the Calida versus Trillanes case as ruled by the Supreme Court. Mr. Chair, there's no portion in that ruling of the Supreme Court where it says that the invitation of a certain individual may not appear in the committee proceedings. It merely imparts there in the ruling, Mr. Chair, in that particular ruling by the Supreme Court, impart there that the Congress must, again, be conscious about the rights of the invited persons. Hindi ho na sinasabi doon na may right na hindi pumunta. Wala pong doon sa ruling na yon, kasi yung pong in-invoke nila na ruling na yon sa kanilang response sa ating komite, na wala pong sinasabi doon sa ruling na yun na wag silang pumunta. In fact, ang sinasabi lang po doon ay nire-remind at sinasabi sa Congress na maging conscious tayo sa rights ng mga invited persons. In fact, Mr. Chair, refusal to attend a committee hearing, Mr. Chair, constitute a violation under the revised penal code doon po sa Article 150 na ang penalty nito ay arresto mayor. In fact, we are being given and recognized by the Supreme Court that we have the mandate as part of our oversight functions, to really invite these persons and know exactly what, the issues at hand, yung expenditure ng public expenses. So I think, alam nila yan. Kasi they have invoked this ruling by the Supreme Court and they have cited this ruling. I'm sure they have also consulted the lawyers. Kung if they keep on refusing attending these committee hearings, alam po ng mga abogado nila yan, na in fact, it's under po dun sa revised Penal Code Article number 150, talagang meron pong penalty dyan sa refusal doon sa mga invitation ng mga proper na binigyan ng mandato ng Constitution na mag-investigate at mag-inquire at mag-hold ng mga committee hearings such as what we're doing right now. So just to add context to the manifestation of Congressman Chairman Benny Abante po, na dapat po alam po nila yan because they have to consult their lawyers and they must appear before this committee hearing, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Congressman Manuel, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, in connection din doon, dahil more than one time sinight sa position paper ng mga opisyal ng Office of the Vice President yung Calida versus Trillanes noong 2019. Mr. Chair, it is very disappointing for public officials representing the second highest office sa bansa natin na chine-cherry pick ang mga desisyon ng Supreme Court. Mr. Chair, in addition sa nabanggit ng colleague natin, kaya naman tayo umabot sa subpoena ad testificandum at hindi na lamang simpleng imbitasyon kasi yung mga input na gusto nating makuha mula sa mga opisyal na pangalanan ay crucial na mga impormasyon at hindi na lamang optional or add-on na mga impormasyon in line with the topics of our investigation or inquiry. Tsaka Mr. Chair, hindi nila sinight na actually yung petition nung nag-file versus kung sino yung dapat sumagot. Mr. Chair, this Supreme Court petition was actually dismissed. Ibig sabihin, nag-favor yung Supreme Court doon sa kapangyarihan ng legislative bodies na mag-conduct talaga ng mga investigations in line with the legislation. Lalo na yung national budget ay isa yan sa pinagdedebatihan talaga ng mga batas dito sa ating bansa. And Mr. Chair, sa position paper kasi ang dami talagang palusot pero hindi pa maayos yung mga palusot na binibigay. At actually, lalo lang na ina-undermine at hindi nire-respeto yung trabaho ng mga mambabatas, kinakasyon na hindi ito in aid of legislation, wala daw jurisdiction yung committee, nasa Supreme Court na daw. Pero then again, maging yung Supreme Court, kinikilala nga yung ating responsibilidad. Kasi we owe it to the people na talakayin yung ganito mga topic, lalo na at pera ng bayan yung nakataya. And also, Mr. Chair, yung dinahilan din kasi daw natanggap yung letter, holiday, tapos may weekend pa, kaya late daw nabasa. Mr. Chair, we would like to remind these officials na dahil mga public official tayo, hindi dapat basta-basta ginagamit yung holiday or weekend bilang dahilan para i-neglect yung ating duty. Kasi tayo we have a standard, sapat yung minimum 3 calendar days for us to issue notices kapag magkakahiring tayo. So yun lang gusto nating reiterate, Mr. Chair, in support din sa mga nabanggit dahil sobra na itong actually nasa extent na rin po ng pagbabastos na sa mandato ng committee natin to conduct this investigation. Yun lang, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Congressman Abante.
tayo po ay nagpapasalamat kay Atty. Powa na yung ating pag-imbita sa kanya, palagi siya nandirito, no? The fact that he worked as a spokesman of the Vice President before. Gusto ko lang tanungin sa kanya, kilala niya yung mga taon to. Ito ba talaga mga ugali nito mga taon to? Palagay mo, Tony Chua, ito ba talaga ugali ng mga taong ito?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Your Honor,
Attorney Powa, you're recognized.
I hope you would forgive me, but I cannot comment po on that. No? But I'm sorry po.
Well, I'm just so glad, Mr. Chair, that Atty. Powa do not have this kind of an attitude also. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair.
Yes,
Mr. Chair.
Congressman Luis Toro.
Mr. Chair, to complete the arguments, our answer to the arguments which were raised by the OVP in their position paper, I wish to share the rules and the jurisprudence which were cited with respect to the argument on sub judice rule. Isa po sa mga dahilan na ginagamit ng OVP why they refuse to attend our inquiry in aid of legislation is the rule on sub judice. By this, we are prevented from making any comment or disclosures pertaining to judicial proceeding which may directly or indirectly impede, obstruct, or degrade the administration of justice. In Filipino, Mr. Chair, kapag ang subject matter is already pending in court, generally, we are precluded from making any comment. However, Mr. Chair, maliwanag po ang parameters when the sub judice rule may apply. And I wish to share, number 1, under Section 1 of the Rules on Inquiry in Aid of Legislation, the filing or pendency of a case before any court, tribunal, or quasi-judicial or administrative body shall not stop or abate any inquiry conducted to carry out a legislative process. Number 2, Mr. Chair, there is no pending court case or administrative appeal that involves the same subject matter of this hearing. I understand that there are pending petitions before the Supreme Court, but let us acknowledge that the subject matter of those petitions is the constitutionality of the grant of confidential fund to executive offices like the OVP and the DepEd. Whereas the subject matter of this investigation, Mr. Chair, is the utilization of the confidential fund. These are two different matters, Mr. Chair. And third, Mr. Chair, let us be aware of the jurisprudence on the case of Romero II versus Estrada. This is GR number 174-105, promulgated on April 2, 2009, which essentially states ongoing judicial proceedings cannot preclude or hinder congressional hearings in aid of legislation. In this case, it was held that the mere filing of a criminal or an administrative complaint before a court should not automatically bar the conduct of legislative investigation. Otherwise, Mr. Chair, it would be extremely easy to subvert any intended inquiry by Congress through the convenient ploy of instituting a criminal or an administrative complaint. Surely, the exercise of sovereign legislative authority, of which the power of legislative inquiry is an essential component, cannot be made subordinate to a criminal or administrative investigation. In conclusion, Mr. Chair, there is no leg to stand on where the OVP can raise the rule on sub judice. I submit, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congresswoman Luistro. Meron pa pong gusto mag-comment? Yes, Congressman Defensor, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to put to rest once and for all the issue of whether this is in aid of legislation. This is clearly in aid of legislation because ang pera na ginamit ng OVP at ng DepEd is funded and forms part of the single most important legislation passed by Congress every year, and that is the annual budget or the General Appropriations Act. Walang pwedeng magsabi na ang pondo na binibigay sa mga ahensya ng gobyerno kapag iniimbestigahan ng committee ito is not part of in aid of legislation because we legislate the funds that we give to all agencies and instrumentalities of government. And it is for us to determine through our oversight and this committee whether we will fund it again, whether we will repeal it, or whether we will not no longer fund these programs through these confidential and intelligence funds. So I hope that is clear to every Filipino na in aid of legislation ito kasi part ito ng annual budget or General Appropriations Act taon-taon. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair,
Thank you, Congressman Abante, you're recognized.
I fully agree with Congresswoman Luistro and Congressman Defensor on what they said. Ito po ay pinapanood ng taong bayan na kinakailangan maunawaan po nila na itong pondong ito, whether confidential po ito o hindi, nagastos na po ito. Hindi pa ito gagastusin, nagastos na ho ito eh. Ang nais nating malaman kung paano ito nagastos. Tungkulin po natin yan sa committee ito na alamin upang malaman po ng taong bayan na yung paggastos po ng pondo na nanggaling sa mga taxpayers ay tama at naaayon sa mandato na ibinigay sa office ng pangalawang Pangulo. Kaya nga po iniimbitahan natin itong mga taong ito na nakakaalam ng mga pondong ito. Ako naman po medyo naaawa na rin sa ating members ng COA na naririndi na sa mga katanungan natin. Talagang dapat pumunta na po ito. Kaya gusto ko rin i-air ang warning na ito muli. Pag hindi pa sila nagpunta, sa panglimang pagkakataon, ako na po ay magmo-motion to issue a contempt order on them. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you,
Your
Congressman
Honor.
Abante.
May I be
Yes, Comsec, you're recognized.
Thank you, Your Honor. We recognize the presence of Honorable Ernesto M. Jonicio Jr., Member, 1st District of the City of Manila, as well as Honorable Jonathan Keith T. Flores, 2nd District of Bukidnon. Your Honor, present as well today are representatives from the Land Bank of the Philippines, AVP Nanita Camposano of the DOTC branch. Ma'am, may you please raise your hand? Present, Your Honor. DM Joyce L. Eclavea, DepEd branch. And Attorney Rafael Christopher L. Yap, Special Legal Concerns Department. Present, Your Honor. That's it.
Nakapag-take na po ba sila ng oath?
No, Your Honor, they are new invitees, Your Honor.
Yes, pwede po bang paki-administer yung oath, Comsec?
From the representatives of the Land Bank, kindly stand up. Okay. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this inquiry? So help you God. Thank you, Your Honor. The oath has been administered.
Thank you. We will now proceed to our next item in the agenda, the continuation of the deliberation. We will first call on the first interpellator, the Honorable Congressman Rog Gutierrez. Yes, you are first to interpellate.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yung mga gusto pong, for a while, Congressman, yung mga gusto pa pong Congressman na magpalista lang po, lumapit lang po kay Comsec. Thank you po. Please continue, Congressman Rog.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I just have a few questions based on the ARs that we've done. And given that this is already our 4th hearing, I'm sure COA is very much used to our questioning, and I hope they could indulge us some more. Actually, Mr. Chair, yung aking mga katanungan is supposedly directed to the Special Disbursement Officer of the OVP, because under my understanding, based on the joint memo, this would have been SDO Acosta's responsibility, because under number 6.3.2, Section B, it is part of the Special Disbursing Officer's responsibility to maintain separate records of all transactions and to retain a certified copy or duplicate copy of the required supporting documents and reports on utilization. However, and my questioning is precisely on this, on the acknowledgement receipts attached as justification, yung documentary evidence presented. However, given that the SDO Acosta is not around, I guess we'll be forced to at least to get this some of the answers I'll be forced to ask the COA. So with that, Mr. Chair, I'd like to direct my questions perhaps to Attorney Camora from the ICFAO, if they would be so kind to indulge. Just as to add context po, no, Attorney Camora. We know po that the confidential funds are special in the sense that they respond to, they pertain to a certain purpose only allowable under the Joint Memo Circular. But this does not mean that this is a blank check po, no? It's not a blanket authority that it could be spent without justification. Would that be a fair statement po?
Attorney Camora, you're recognized.
That is correct po, your Chair.
So,
Mr. Chair.
in line with that and in line with the requirements of the COA, you would ask actually for liquidation reports. Although it's special in the sense that it is directed only to the chairman of the COA, you still have the ICFAO to study this. And in fact, it is the ICFAO who gives the AOMs, the notice of disallowance, and the notice of credit in relation to confidential fund spending. Is that correct, Mr. Chair?
That is correct, Mr. Chair.
So, Mr. Chair, given the, maybe no, I have a timeline again of the 2022 confidential fund usage of the OVP. If I understand correctly, it was disbursed within 11 days. This was for December of 2022, and the basis of the funds was a transfer from the contingent fund. But there was an AOM issued by your office. Anong date po nito?
Mr. Chair, the first AOM is dated September 14, 2023.
So for the 2022 confidential funds, September 2023 yung AOM. And the response by the Office of the Vice President was received around what time po kaya?
It was received by the ICFAO on October 19, 2023, Mr. Chair.
October 2023. And one of the findings there was insufficient the DEPs po, no? And this would be pertaining to, in support of the liquidation reports, yung ating mga acknowledgement receipts. Because compared to usual spending by government wherein we actually need official receipts, kapag ang pinag-uusapan po ay confidential or intelligence funds, because precisely confidential dapat yung usage nito, it is sufficient to submit acknowledgement receipts. Tama po ba?
Mr. Chair, since the requirement is documentary evidence of payment, not necessarily official receipt.
Correct.
So they could submit acknowledgement
Attorney Camora,
receipts.
pwede pong pakilakasan po ninyo yung boses ninyo.
Documentary evidence of payment po ang required sa joint circular. So the acknowledgement receipts are acceptable po.
Acceptable. Correct po, no? And I agree with that. So the acknowledgement receipts are acceptable. However, one of the findings of the AOM was kulang nga po yung DEPs. And this is pertaining to the acknowledgement receipts.
The first time na nag-liquidate po sila, wala po talagang submitted na DEPs.
Opo. So that's why you had the AOMs in September 2023. Part of the findings was the lack of the DEPs, precisely yung mga ARs natin. And then they answered in October 2023. When they filed in October 2023, was it already there, yung DEPs? Yung justification po nila?
Yes, Mr. Chair, it was part of their compliance.
So it was submitted October 2023. After that, there was a notice of disallowance pertaining to that quarter. Kailan po ito na-issue?
Mr. Chair, before that, a notice of suspension was issued. So normally, after the AOM is issued and the COA is not satisfied with the compliance, we issue a notice of suspension, which was issued on December 13, 2023.
December 2023. And the notice of suspension you mentioned is when the COA is not satisfied. So yung pagsubmit po ng October 2023 DEPs, hindi pa po satisfied yung COA. And what was the reason that you were not satisfied? Mali-mali po ba yung mga AR or kulang pa po yung mga AR?
May mga ibang ARs po na may issues and may kulang pa po na additional documentation on other ARs.
And after the notice of suspension for December 2023, they were given another chance to submit additional documents. Is that correct? Or wala na po?
Meron pa, Mr. Chair.
Meron pa.
They were given 90 days.
90 days.
To,
When did they, apologies, when did they submit their additional DEPs po? In response to the notice of suspension?
Mr. Chair, we received their compliance on March 13, 2024.
March 2024. And finally, I suppose after this, ito na po yung disallowance?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Anong date po ng disallowance po na?